Some people say they might try to come back to Obamacare. Talk like that, as they're home for recess, suggests that the problems we saw a week or two ago are coming back.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that you will see as they try to move forward on these spending negotiations is that they're going to try to keep the government open by cutting a deal with Democrats, not with Justin Amash and the House Freedom Caucus. They're going to try to get a bill through the House and the Senate that can get bipartisan support. On spending issues, assuming there are no riders that could, say, prohibit the funding for Planned Parenthood or build something that call for the construction of the wall on the border with Mexico, they should be able to get that done. And it sounds like that's very possible. But on things that are more partisan, that are along party lines, maybe like tax reform, for instance, where they need those conservative supports, they need those Justin Amashes of the world, it's going to be incredibly difficult to get Republican and conservative policy through, not just the Senate, which is always difficult, but also the House, because a lot of these folks on the House Freedom Caucus and others just do not believe that Speaker Ryan is pushing legislation that conservatives promised while they campaigned.
I'm actually surprised and a bit impressed that we have returned to our previously scheduled Republican Civil War, because I was in the House on the day of the session when they unanimously reelected Paul Ryan as Speaker, and that seemed to be showing that now that they had a Republican president, they were going to be much more unified, and the Freedom Caucus was the Hell No Caucus when there was a Democrat in office, but now that there was a Republican, they could all come together. That turned out not to be true, because these guys actually believed this stuff, it turns out. And they are actually going to stand on principle, agree with it or not, especially on matters of spending.
And on spending, but you say if they try to work with the Democrats and they stop funding Planned Parenthood, if they drop other things that the conservatives want, that mood is going to continue. They're going to still be mad. They didn't get what they want in the Obamacare fight. If they don't get what they want there, and also stoking this during the recess, because there's been talk of coming back to Obamacare, you have interest groups on just about every side of the debate running ads, some targeting House members, these targeting senators.
People who know healthcare the best say the Republicans' healthcare repeal bill is the worst. And the country's top nonpartisan experts say 24 million more Americans will be uninsured, 14 million next year alone. Tell Senator Heller, vote no on the Republican plan to take away your health care.
Again, those being run against three senators who are viewed as more on the moderate side, who would oppose a conservative if something conservative came out of the House. The bigger question from my view is, if you're the President of the United States and you're his team, and you're 82 days now, and you're looking at the 100 days, and you know you failed on Obamacare, and you're trying to get a few more things done, that climate has to tell you this is tough.
Yeah, and it also got tougher with the going the nuclear option on Supreme Court nominee.
Right,
and
a big win, but at a price.
Yeah, and I do think there really genuinely was a chance for the president to work with Democrats. I think he could have united them. He could have formed an alliance with Schumer. Those two had a previous relationship with each other. I mean, Trump is not some conservative ideologue. He has Democratic views as well, and a lot of Democrats in the White House. So there really could have been a chance to work with Democrats, but they didn't reach out soon enough. And now this toxic environment with the nuclear option, with these ads running in their districts, I think I don't know. I don't see how they come together. I think it's going to take a while. It's going to take a lot of relationship building.
And the president knows this debate is going on, because he knows how the media works. He watches a lot of cable television. Listen to him this morning. He's at a meeting with CEOs at the White House. He knows people are starting to build their 100-day lists, good, bad, accomplished or not. Here's the president's take.
At the top of our agenda is the creation of great high-paying jobs for American workers. And we've made a lot of progress. You see what's going on. You see the numbers. We've created over 600,000 jobs already in a very short period of time, and it's going to really start catching on.
Just a little fact check for those of you good at math at home. The president said we've created over 600,000 jobs. Our count is 317,000 jobs so far during the Trump administration. Still not a bad number. A couple months into office, he's counting, I think, there some jobs from the last month of the Obama administration. But to the point, the president wants you to think the economy's doing well, look at the markets, so maybe I didn't get health care back through the Congress, but he's trying to say, the stuff that matters most, I'm doing fine.
Look, I think we underestimate a bit how much Gorsuch matters to people who voted for Trump and people who took a gamble on him. So that's not a legislative victory, but it is a big victory. Plus, some of the economic messaging and working with these CEOs and looking more business friendly and these one-off deals he's done with folks, I think those can sustain him for longer than many people in D.C. think they can sustain him. But eventually, something has to happen in Congress. And it has to look different than it did on healthcare. And I think Ryan's office knows that and is attempting to make some changes, but you still have a timetable that is really, really tough for these guys to get something major through. But as far as wanting a new speaker, don't nobody want that job. That's
Right. That's
the
job
part of
security
this
for Paul
that always
Ryan.
cracks me up. Ryan himself, I contend, has
Didn't
always
like
been like the guy in Clerks who's like, I wasn't even supposed to be here today. That is his
Maybe have a
job.
rotating apprenticeship where
Yes.
you take it for a week or
Well, and on the jobs in the economy, you know why companies are creating jobs? You know why the stock price is up? On the hope and promise of what
Right.
the president said he would deliver on tax reform, on infrastructure. If you can't, on a border tax, that's why these manufacturing companies are saying here, okay, well, if you can't deliver on that, well, forget about it. They'll go open the plant in Mexico. They're not going to hire more jobs if they don't think they're getting their corporate tax rate cut.
And if they don't
So-
get tax reform
yeah.
done, they don't get the border wall done, they don't get repealing Obamacare done, and do things that he said he would do in the first 100 days, like label China a currency manipulator and drain the swamp agenda, which we've really not heard really anything about. I mean, that's going to be a big failure for a lot of the people who voted for him.
I think